All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Now our GMC tweet of the night. And I got Bucko fever after this, Chris. Racking up the hardware, Ke'Bryan Hayes has been named the Fielding Bible Defensive Player of the Year. Not just defensive third baseman, defensive player, and he only played in 124 games. That's multiple Fielding Bible honors in the last 3 years for Ke'Bryan Hayes. Do you think he's worth the contract now?
Well, the contract was always a good one because of the value of his defense and the relative lack of, it's not that much of a contract in terms of what, guys get paid. Marcus Semion's a really good player. What did Texas give him? Almost $200 million. I think the Pirates got Hayes at a comparative bargain if he even hits a little bit the way he did towards the end of this season. Also, Fielding Bible, is there like an Old Testament where they talk about the days when guys had the crappiest looking gloves ever, and then a New Testament? This Fielding Bible intrigues me, Richie.
He should win the Golden Glove, I would think. Don't you think? A Rawlings Gold Glove?
Yes. I think so. Arenado, I'm not saying Arenado's not great, but I think he'd coasted a little bit on reputation. I do think Ke'Bryan Hayes is the best defensive third baseman in baseball. I think you feel like it's a very anomalous situation when he actually has one go by him. He vacuums everything up. And like I said, if the offense is there to a significant extent, even at all, if he's an average offensive player, right, a guy that hits like 15 to 18 homers, hits about 270, he is a huge asset to them and a huge bargain.
All right, out to the phone lines. We got Dave out on the north side. How you doing, Dave?
Yeah, I want to talk about the Penguins. I think they were great. I think Eller and Smith should be the number one, number two star tonight. What do you think?
I think the number one star is Tristan Jarry. Maybe Riley Smith, but Tristan Jarry, I think, is his 15th career shutout. That's third only to Barrasso and Marc-Andre Fleury. 31 shots he saved here tonight. He's the only goaltender, I believe, in the NHL right now with 2 shutouts.
Yeah, but he came into the game with an .892 save percentage off the top of my head. He was below .900, I know that. You can make him one of the 3 stars, but maybe to the caller's point, I think the most significant good performance was by Eller. They have just desperately needed to get some sort of substantial contributions from their bottom 6, but especially that third line, Richie. Riley Smith's been really good early on. I think a lot of people expected that he would be good and maybe are pleasantly surprised by just how good the fit has been with Evgeny Malkin, but they have really needed a lot out of that third line. They haven't gotten it, and they finally got a build up to something significant and tangible on the score sheet.
Sidney Crosby said it about a week ago. He said there's going to be some ups and downs with every team right now, especially them, because everyone's still learning each other.
Yeah, well, they have to make sure that losing streaks don't extend probably past 3, especially with the loser point in hockey. To lose them all in regulation's tough. So this was an important win in that context. But as far as like playing inside out or playing low to high, I think that's smart again. They want to be a team still, and I know they scored off of an odd man rush today. They want to be a team that still gets up and down the ice and creates those odd man chances, but when you try to create them for yourself and for your team, you tend to give some away to the other team. And in past years, they could get away with playing that way because they were going to cash in on more of them. They're not going to anymore, so there does need to be a more focused, disciplined sort of style of play in terms of getting pucks deep and then kind of creating offense that way. And especially, Richie, the other thing I'll say about this game really fast here is they get out to a lead, they get to 1-0, then they get to 2-0. We always hear 2-goal lead, most dangerous lead in hockey. They get all the way up to 3-0, then they finally get it to 4-0. And you never saw, that power play kill or the penalty kill was huge, the 4-minute, but I don't think you ever really saw them start to get undisciplined or say, we've got a multi-goal lead, we can afford to screw around with the puck here. I think managing leads for this team is going to be really crucial throughout the season.
When the Pens were always winning, and then when they won those cups and they continued to win playoff series, they always had 3 lines and 3 centers. Do you think that they have it this year?
I know they have it with the first 2. I still believe in the top 6. That's where the Eller thing becomes so significant. If you see that Eller line look like I think it has to be 2 things. It has to be somewhat productive. It can't just be out there like as a pure, glorified, better defensive checking line. It has to be a little bit skilled. There has to be some point production. But more than anything else, I think those 3 need to hop over the boards with a defined identity. If you get that Eller line coming out and you kind of know what to expect, I think that helps immeasurably. Stahl, Cook, Kennedy was a great third line because, yes, they could score. Yes, they could agitate with really all 3 guys. But Stahl made it special because the guy was a 6'4" pterodactyl in there who could do a little bit of everything. Eller's not that guy physically, but if you at least carve out a basic identity of when this line's on the ice, this is how they're going to play. They're going to get pucks deep. They're going to be a pain to play against. I think you become a much tougher team to deal with.
But they also won a couple cups with Bonino, too.
Right. I mean, that line, listen, that was the HBK line. You throw Phil Kessel on a third line, it's going to be an absurdly good line scoring-wise. Bonino was a do-it-all kind of player, but that line's identity was, hey, we have one of the best offensive talents in the world rushing off the wing. Like, that's pretty spectacular. This line's a little different.
Yeah.
It's going to be more grit. It's going to be more defense, but they do have to get some scoring like they got tonight.
All right, we got to take a break. Back with more of your phone calls and some Steelers talk. Coming up next. Stay right there.